Thanks for joining us today on T County Classics here on DMG TV2 on Time Warner Cable. I have the privilege today of being at the home of Grant and Sue Geist, also affectionately referred to in the family as the Triple G Speed Shop. We love it. How did that name come about?
Well, my initials in my name are GGG, so we just kind of affectionately referred to our little car collection in our garage as Triple G Speed Shop.
And with the hot rods, it has to be a speed shop, right?
Exactly, exactly.
It just makes sense. Well, now tell us about your collection behind us. What are the cars that we're looking at here?
Well, we've actually got four in front of us, in front of the house here today. We've got a 1932 Ford five-window coupe. We've got a 1964 Chevelle Malibu, a 1967 Ford Mustang, and a 1978 Chevy Nova.
Beautiful. Now let's begin with the first love, the baby. Your 32.
Well, the 32 is kind of a dream car.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Actually, it is my dream car. Sue and I saw the movie American Graffiti back in the mid-'70s when we were dating, and I decided after seeing that movie that someday I was either going to own or build the car that
Oh yes, it will be mine.
John Milner drove in the movie. So, yeah, it was a long time coming, but we started building the car, I believe, in 2008, and it was about a 4-year project. Started from nothing, a bare concrete floor, and 4 years later we were done and out cruising around.
All right. Now, did you get a vehicle that just needed a lot of work and spend a lot of time in restoration?
No, actually, every part on the car is brand new.
So you literally did build it.
Yes, 1-800 Hot Rod. Everything was purchased off the shop, off the store shelves, and then a lot of local people helped me with the car. I had a lot of special one-off parts machined that are unique to this car that you won't find on a shelf anywhere or on anybody else's cars.
Right. That is phenomenal. So it all because of a great movie. We can relate to things like that.
That's probably our favorite movie, at least my favorite movie, and I still watch it today. I kid my son, it's American Graffiti night, and he'll run the other way because he complains that the movie's too dark, he can't see anything, and I keep explaining to him that the movie was shot at night. So
Right. That explains a great deal. So what are some of the special little pieces of Grant that you built into the car since you built it from the ground up?
the car is actually a tribute car to the American Graffiti car. It's not an exact replica. Um, it's a graffiti car that if I was building the car from scratch, which I did, I put my little touches on it.
Like books, it was inspired by the movie.
Yeah, it's obviously not yellow. The car in the movie was canary yellow. I couldn't paint it yellow. I just didn't want another clone car. So we ended up deciding. Eventually, it's painted PPG liquid crystal black. It's got a touch of silver pearl in the paint. And I just figured that hot rods are traditionally black, so that's what we decided to go with. It's got the motorcycle fenders on the front, just like the graffiti car. It's got the bob fenders on the rear, like the graffiti car. The motor, the graffiti car was a 327 cubic inch small block. Mine is a crate motor. It's a 350 cubic inch, and instead of an Offenhauser, instead of a Manafree intake manifold, it's got an Offenhauser intake on it. The Manafree was about $3,000 to buy that if I could find one. I ended up paying probably $500 for the one that I have. And that's pretty unique. It's a 4x2 setup. It's got 4 carburetors. They're 2-barrel carburetors, and they're what they call 2GVs, Rochester carburetors. And it's all direct linkage. There's no progressive linkage. So it's, pretty much what one does, all 4 of them do. It's either open or close. There's no in between.
Right.
So that's pretty unique to the car.
And inside, I've noticed some of the interior. There's an emblem on the inside door on each side. Did you have that custom made? Did you find that somewhere?
Actually, I drew it up. I designed it myself, and then I had my good friend Jim Blick at Blick Tool and Die made the diamond pattern for it. and we had them anodized, and then I got the chrome letters and the logos, and decided just to throw a little bling on the car at the tail end when we were finishing the interior.
Gotta have the bling. It's all about the personalization. You have to make it yours.
That's correct.
And so you did, Grant. It's beautiful. Now, when we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the other cars in the Triple G Speed Shop collection coming up here on T County Classics on DMG TV2.
I think I was in elementary school when you decide, oh, I want to be a teacher when I grow up.
When I came in as a junior, my very first day, I was a very quiet, shy girl.
I wasn't sure where I wanted to be or what I was going to do. And I wanted to learn a trade that I could make maximum money and something that I was in control of my own destiny. When I saw the masonry program, I really fell in love with it. Something that was outside, hands-on. It was hard work. It really fit my style.
Instead of learning from a textbook, you get the opportunity to actually learn on the job, hands-on, which is great.
It's not just someone behind the desk, but it's someone that actually goes out and does the work. They actually turn the wrenches, or they actually go out and they work in construction. And it opens the doors up for the student to allow them some real-world experiences they might not have if they didn't take that class.
What was great with our class is that, there were 18 of us. We all had different backgrounds, came from different environments.
We were a team. We all worked independently. However, we worked with each other.
And we all just kind of were encouragement to each other and gave each other ideas and became a family in our lab.
It really helped me to open up as a person and really gave me the confidence I needed to be successful in my career today.
I was an athlete at the homeschool. We were still involved with our homeschool activities, our pep rallies, and all the activities that take place at the homeschool. We were not shut out or alienated.
You have the opportunity, here at Buckeye, you get involved with a club, you learn some leadership skills, and really share that leadership out in the community.
And you never know in which way you're going to use it and how it'll open up doors for you.
A lot of people were saying, oh, if you go to Buckeye, you can't go to college. Well, I'm sitting here in front of you working on my master's degree. So that's not true.
Use the skills you're learning as your work ethic. There's absolutely no limits.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars. We're cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not shining stars. This I know, I never said we are. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, carry on. We are who we are.
Myers & Miller Podiatry provides complete foot and ankle care to patients of all ages. The practice was established in 2000 by Dr. Adam Myers and has grown to include Dr. Andy Miller in 2007 and most recently Dr. Jason Backage in 2010. Our core values of respect and honesty are the basis for how we manage our practice, and we have grown by building relationships with our patients in order to better serve their needs. Myers & Miller Podiatry serves Tuscarawas and Holmes County with offices in Dover, Sugar Creek, Newcomerstown, and Millersburg. Let's get started building our relationship.
Welcome back to T County Classics here on DMG TV2 for Time Warner Cable. We're spending the day at the Triple G Speed Shop with Grant and Sue Geist. Thank you so much for having us today. I appreciate you taking time out of your weekend.
Thanks for coming.
And we've been talking about some of your cars. We talked about your dream American Graffiti car, but there's been a newest addition. There's a baby in the family. Tell us about that one.
Well, the newest car in the fleet is a 1964 Chevelle Malibu. It's the first year that Chevy built the Chevelle. We went to Palos Park, Illinois over the 4th of July weekend with an empty trailer, and we came back with the Chevelle. I actually found the car for sale on eBay. The car did not meet the reserve on the eBay auction, so I sent the guy a text message, and make a long story short, we came to terms and I ended up buying the car.
Wonderful. So do you think that Chevy got it right in 64 and shouldn't have changed anything?
Well, I kind of like the boxy look. I mean, 64s and 65s were pretty much, they look like a box. And then in 66, and as they move forward, they changed the body lines on the car, quite a bit. I kind of like it because I guess it looks a little bit like a large 67 Chevy Nova Super Sport, which is what I really would like to have, but I couldn't afford one. So we ended up with the dressed down version, the Malibu.
We all make compromises in life.
Correct. Yeah.
That's not a bad compromise, though. Really, I think you won out on that one. That's pretty good. So, when you got the Chevy, it was already restored, or had it been maintained? Do you know much about the history of the car before you got it?
I actually bought it. The gentleman I bought it from buys and sells cars. He flips cars like a lot of people do today. Actually, he kind of finances his drag racing habit by doing that.
I see.
But the Chevelle is pretty much as we found it. I'm little by little picking away at it and kind of adding a little bit more chrome here and there and repairing things that need attention. The car actually did have a frame off restoration in 2007, so it's really a solid car, and it gives me a foundation to work with.
That is beautiful. Now, did you add the fuzzy dice, or was that your wife's touch? Whose idea? Did it come with those?
I added the fuzzy dice. That was something that from my teenage years, I guess, we always had fuzzy dice hanging from our rear view mirror. So
it's a classic. I have them too.
You'll notice out of all the cars, though, the only one that doesn't have fuzzy dice belongs to Mrs. Geist. So
I see.
the Nova and the 32 Ford and the Chevelle, they all have their own fuzzy dice, but the Mustang just doesn't have them.
And we'll be talking with her in just a moment too. Now, I know we talked about how American Graffiti, obviously very important and piquing your interest in cars, but was there a little seed of interest in cars before that, just from growing up or family members who had cars?
When I was a teenager, my dad gave me his car. It was my very first car became a 1964 Ford Falcon Futura convertible. It wasn't a fast car. It had a 6-cylinder motor under the hood, but it was a convertible. It was kind of cool. It had bucket seats. It was white with a black interior. And then I moved on from that car. I got a 69 Mustang. It was a 2-door sport coupe, but it wasn't, again, a fast car. It had a 6-cylinder, straight 6 in it as well. But I tried to make it look fast. I got air shocks for the car, and I put big tires on the back of it, and I had a custom exhaust with some thrush mufflers, and I really at the time had no idea that all these aftermarket speed parts were available for that kind of an engine. So it stayed a stock engine while I had the car, but if I had it today, I'd be able to dress it up a little bit more and make it go a little faster than it did.
Well, I would say you don't always want to go too fast. You want to go slowly enough that people can admire the car while you roll by in style. But after all, you are the Triple G Speed Shop, so.
That's right. You have to have speed in your shop.
That's right. Well, when we come back in just a moment, we will talk with Sue Geist about her Mustang, and we'll hear about that Nova coming up on T County Classics here on DMG TV2.
Omni Orthopedics comprehensive programs provide early diagnosis and successful treatment for every musculoskeletal problem. With more than 30 years of orthopedic experience, their physicians offer patient-centered treatment for all ages. From evaluation to rehabilitation, your treatment plan is designed around your needs. Omni Orthopedics specializes in sports medicine, the spine, physical medicine and rehabilitation, foot and ankle, and hand surgery. If pain makes activities like climbing stairs, standing or walking a challenge, turn to the home team at Omni Orthopedics. Their mission is to provide you with the highest quality and most advanced orthopedic services so you can get back in the game. Located in the Oxford Medical Arts Building, Omni offers a full-service facility including digital x-ray and physical therapy. So there's no need to travel when quality care is so close to home. Omni Orthopedics, setting the standard in orthopedic care.
Brilliantly practical scientist Harriet Tuttle's search for a more efficient life concluded with an unorthodox solution. Harriet created 4 more Harriets. Together they were a model of efficiency. However, while identical, they had their own interests and their own retirement plans, each customized with a Raymond James financial advisor, allowing them to enjoy life separately and together. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website where everything's local.
We continue on T County Classics here on DMG TV2. I'm your host, Laurel Quillen, and joining us today, Grant and Sue Geist, and what their family calls the Triple G Speed Shop Fleet. This is the Fleet, folks, and one of the members of the Fleet is your beautiful Mustang. Tell us about it.
It's a 1967 Mustang. We got it last summer. We purchased it from a couple in Stowe. It had a restoration sometime in the mid-2000s. It's originally a California car. It was built there, has a California black plate, and it's pretty much totally restored. We haven't had to do much to it except drive it around. It is not a 289 engine. It has a 351 Windsor in it, so it will get up and go, although I'm not as good at getting up and going as he is when he's driving it. So it tools around town. It's my daily driver. Goes to City Hall every day to work when it's not raining or snowing, and it's a lot of fun to drive. I grew up riding around the back of a 65 Mustang. My best friend's sister had one, and I've always wanted one. And 65s are a little harder to find, a little more expensive. Always wanted a convertible until I realized that they're not real warm in the winter. Oh. And although these aren't really winter cars, and it does have a heater though. And so this one came available in an ad, and he says, let's just go look at it. I'm going, no, we're not buying a car. We're not going to, all I had to do was look at it and get in it. It was all over.
You're amongst car people. We know what it means when you say, oh, but let's just go look at it. It's harmless, right?
Yeah, it was real harmless. Yeah, and about a week later, it was in the garage. So it was not as harmless as you think.
But it's your baby. And I would imagine coming from California, obviously their weather isn't as harsh as it sometimes is here in Ohio. So if you're going to get a car from far away, that's probably going to be your best bet as far as maintaining the bodywork and getting a car that's not already rotted out.
Yeah, the car didn't have a spot of rust on it when we got it. We checked it inside and out, so we had it undercoated just to make sure that, if it should happen to see a snowflake or two, it wouldn't do any damage, but it hasn't yet. So hoping it doesn't have to too much, but it's a rear-wheel drive car, so they're not a lot of fun to drive in the winter either. So it kind of stays in the garage if it can when the weather's bad.
That's good. Trying to keep it nice. as nice as you can anyway, but still enjoying it at the same time. So that's lovely. We love to see the cars out on the road because otherwise we don't always get to see them.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to go out. It went to Columbus a couple of weekends ago for the Good Guys Nationals over there, and we tooled around Columbus and the Arthritis Foundation and kind of parked and looked at everybody else's car, and everybody else looks at your car and goes, ooh, ah, and you kind of feel good when you say, oh, beautiful car. Yeah, thanks.
Now, is there any other car that you dream of and say, hey, if I had lots of money to play with, maybe I would get something in addition?
No, that was it. That's the one. I've got it. I'm good. I don't know. We leave that to him.
She's living the dream, folks. Was there anything that you've done to personalize it? Any special little things that you put in there? Any good luck charms?
Well, the angel my son made when he was 3 at daycare rides around in the glove box. So it rode on the rearview mirror of every car we've ever gotten. But the windshield on this car is so small that if you put something on the rearview mirror, which is why there's no dice, and I'm not a big dice fan anyway. So she's in the glove box, but yeah, she protects the cars and whoever's in it. So
very good, and it's always nice to have a guardian angel. They always say, what's the saying? Don't drive faster than your guardian angel can fly. So since you're carrying yours with you, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, we're good. We're good to go there.
Well, thank you so much for letting us take a look at your Mustang today, Sue. I really appreciate it. And coming up in a little bit, we'll have more here on T County Classics. We're going to see their son's Nova coming up here on TV2.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars were cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not shining stars. This I know, I never said we are. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet on the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, carry on. We are who we are.
Hi, I'm 1450 WJER's Bill Morgan, inviting you to join me on television Wednesday evenings at 7 and Friday afternoons at 5 for TV2 Sports Talk. Sports Talk is your weekly look inside high school football, volleyball, soccer, and more. Look for guest appearances from your favorite area coaches and players. TV2 Sports Talk, Wednesday evenings at 7 and Friday afternoons at 5 on DMG Channel 2 on Time Warner Cable.
I'm here every day to review patient care and progress notes and also discuss with the therapist, even after hours, what our goals are for the following day.
Our patients are able to stay within the community, be close to their family and friends, which is a big part of the rehab process.
What you get to see then is the actual progress taking place in a smaller time frame, so it's very visible and very real. It's not just something in the future. You're actually seeing it while it's happening.
Union Hospital, quality care close to home.
Welcome back to T County Classics here on DMG TV2. I'm Laurel Quillen, and wrapping up our broadcast today, we are with Grant and Sue Geist at the Triple G Speed Shop. It's a family affair over here, a little family interest, family hobby, I guess we could say. And we already met some of your cars, but there's one more car here that belongs to your son, Bradley. Where the heck is he?
Believe it or not, he's down in South Beach right now. He has spent the last couple of weeks down in Florida. He's gone from the Miami area all the way down to Key West, and they've just been staying at different resorts along the way, and I guess they're gradually headed back this way. I hope so, because the grass needs cut. So anyhow, he's not here to tell us about the car, but the other car that we have here that we haven't talked about is a 1978 Chevy Nova. 79 was the last year that they made Novas, so this is the second to last year. You would think because it's a newer car it would be easier to get parts, but it's really not. It's probably one of the hardest Novas to find parts for.
Really? Now, why? Do you have any idea why that would be, or just is?
I just don't think there's that many of them. There's a lot of people that are in the reproduction aftermarket parts business, and we can buy just about every part for that 67 Mustang and that 64 Chevelle, but we can't buy parts for the 78 Nova. If it was a 1970 or a 72 or even a 60s vintage Nova, there'd be all kinds of parts available, but because it's 78 there's very little available for it.
Oh my goodness. Even with the internet nowadays, I remember my dad always complaining, oh, can't find parts for this or that, and that was pre-internet times, and a lot of people have said that the internet makes it much easier to restore a car nowadays, but not so much the case for that particular Nova.
Actually, the internet has helped us on this car. We've got 2 new fenders, a couple of doors, and some rear quarter panels that we're going to put on the car eventually, one of these days when I can find the time to do it. And we found that through the internet. I found a outfit out west called Western Sheet Metal, and I believe they were out in the Oregon area. We found the front bumper at a salvage yard in Arizona, so the parts that we have found for it, we found out west. There hasn't really been anything in this part of the country available.
Now, when and how did this come into Bradley's life and into the family? Did it belong to one of you first and you passed it down, or is that something that he found and said, I'm going to have a Nova?
Well, actually, the car was in the parking lot at work one day. I worked for the railroad. I pulled into the parking lot in Newark, Ohio, getting ready to go to work, and this car was sitting there, and I come to find out after asking a few questions it belonged to one of the conductors that worked there, and his mother had given him the car when he turned 16. It was her car originally. She bought it new from the dealership in Coshocton, Ohio, and the car was blue originally. And when he turned 16, she had taken it to a local shop in the Coshocton area and had a complete restoration done on it and repainted it and put a bunch of money into it. And so he had the car, and he knew that it was getting time that the car needed some love, and he didn't have the time or the wherewithal, the expertise or the money to put into it. So he wanted to see it go to a good home, so it ended up at Triple G's.
Wonderful. Now, what kind of shape was it in? I know you said you did a little bit, but was it in pretty good shape when you got it? Just needed a little love, or needed a little more love?
Well, it needed a lot of things mechanically. I mean, I've put new springs under the car and all new brakes and done a lot of suspension work to it, a lot of replacement of parts on the motor, things like that. Cosmetically, it's still pretty much like it was the day we got it, other than we cleaned it up and, waxed it all up and made it shine.
So why didn't you keep it for yourself? Did Sue say, hey, that's enough cars, our son needs one?
No, he needed a car to drive to school. When you get to that point in high school, you don't walk, you don't take the bus anymore. So he needed a car, and this was a reasonably priced option. And cool on top of it.
The cool factor is always very nice, so at any age.
It was nice to be able to, kind of justify, by saying, hey, our son needs a car, so let's go buy this hot rod.
And it was the right color. Yeah. He graduated from New Philly, and the car was red and black, so fit right in.
That is perfect. How long has he had it?
He got it the summer of his,
so
17.
4 years ago?
Yeah, he'll be 21 in November, so about 4 years.
Is he taking it off to college with him? Does he do that, or do you get to babysit the grandchild while he's up at school?
Yeah, we pretty much babysit.
Yeah, college parking lots are not the place for a car like that. So, between the scratches and the dings and the dents, we got enough problems with it. We didn't need any more. So
that's a good point. You don't want anyone coming along and playing beer pong on your car. That's
that could happen. So he took the car that I was driving, and I drive that once the Mustang goes into hibernation. So
share it, trade amongst the family.
Yep.
It's perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking time out and sharing your beautiful fleet with us, the Triple G Speed Shop fleet. Grant and Sue Geist, thank you so much for joining us on T-County Classics.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
And we'll see you later on T County Classics on DMG TV2 for Time Warner Cable. I'm Laurel Quillen. We'll see you.